Hey there, fellow trackers. Matt here. Today's video is on a how to re-spool an 8-track tape when it ends up getting sort of eaten by your player. Now, a lot of people will say, before even doing any respooling, you should iron out the crinkles that are in the tape. I generally don't bother doing that. I'm not too concerned with it. I know some of you are probably like, why? But that's just my way. It's something that I guess just the way I do things. I'm not very anal about that. I don't know. Maybe I'm lazy. I don't know. But anyway, so what we have here is this Scottish bagpipe tape, and yeah, it got swallowed by my player. So first things first, I'm going to unravel it. Next thing I'll need is an empty cartridge, which I have right here. So give me a second there and we'll get you all situated so you can see what I'm doing. So the first order of business is to get this thing opened up. So I usually use a straight blade screwdriver and a pair of clothespins. So I'll pop the little tab right here with the screwdriver by just wedging it in there. Give it a little twist, and with my clothespin here, but in the area where normally your playback head would be pressing against the tape, and just pop it up. Then I grab the sides of the cartridge to hold it open, and then at the back end there's two more tabs here. So I just again with my screwdriver go to the spine set part, the area of the tab that's closest to the spine of the cartridge. Give it a little twist. There you go, and she just pops right off. Now you're left with the guts of the cartridge. I'm going to move these things out of the way here for a second. So now, with this guy here, I'm going to just kind of pull, not pull the tape out, but kind of pull along here to get out all the twists out of the tape, so that when I wind it up, it'll go on straight. And before I continue, I don't even see, but we have, oh, hang on, little crinkles here on the tape. Looks kind of like an accordion. I mean, that does affect the sound a little bit for that moment, but I mean, like I said, I don't really care. I can live with it personally. So I just pull along here, and then when I see any twists, I usually use like a screwdriver just to kind of pull them out. And then I continue. Oh, that's interesting. I got a knot here. I think. Oh, maybe not. All right, I got fooled. Sometimes it happens. Ends up causing you to start fresh again. But no big deal. Takes a bit of patience, but whatever. No, we'll get there. So again, we just go back to it. Come on. Just pull the tape through. Make sure there aren't any twists. Get them out. Just like so. Okay, now we've reached the end. Closer here. Right? So, now, whenever we do this, you always want to wind from the, I call it the take-up side of the reel. So, which is always the same side as your pinch reel is. Pinch wheel, pardon me. And you always want to make sure that you'll have a little tail. Hang on. Can't you see? Of course, with my hand in the way. Sorry about that, guys. Had a call come in. Anyway, so whenever you're winding onto a temporary hub, usually what I do is I'll actually feed the tape over the pinch wheel, and I'll bring the tape around, about halfway, pinch it off so that it stays in place. Always want to make sure that you have this little tail here. Pardon me for giving you all the finger here. This is what I'm trying to do. Anyway, you want to have this little tail then pointing up, because when you go to rewind the tape back into your proper cartridge, you'll be taking from the supply side of the tape, or of the reel. So and I'll just kind of zoom in here a bit more so you can see what I'm doing. Right? Kind of see? Hopefully. And this does take a little bit of finagling to get it started. So sometimes this little tail piece will try to fall back in. I mean, if you want, you can use Scotch tape to tape it to the inner part of the hub here. Hang on, like inside here. But generally, I don't think you really have to. Then you just to get it started, just give it a couple of little slow windings. And then you can use either your finger and just, rotate the reel yourself like that, or what I use is a screwdriver on the inside of the reel, and just manually spin it. Just like that. Sometimes you will see these little twists pop up. Don't worry about that. You just kind of move it out of the way, because once you have this thing filled, that twist will go away, because you would have already made sure that all the little twists have been taken out already, right? So you just go nice and easy. Doesn't hurt to push down on the little bits here of tape that ride up the reel. See, if you look here, there's no twists. Oops, hang on a second. Sorry about that, folks. Let's just get this. Look carefully here. There's no twists happening between the take up and your supply, right? So now we'll just put you back where you were. Oops, come on. Sorry, guys. There we go. Hang on. There we go. All right. Now we're kind of set. Okay, so then we just continue, because you want to pull all the tape that's in this cartridge out, because I mean this is a complete respool. Now I'm not going to show the whole process on camera, but I'll bring you back in a bit there, and we'll do the same thing in reverse. All right. Just a thought there. When you're doing this, you might hear like a wobbling sound or like a warbling sound coming from your supply cartridge, which is normal. That noise. I'm going to push this down a little bit. There we go. Continue on. Now I am also keeping my my hand just over top of the pinch reel here, just to keep the tape from jumping out and then getting all twisted up. This is just what I do to make my job easier on myself, and bring on less trouble. So anyway, just continue on. Every now and then you'll want to push down on your tape that you've been reeling in, because it does want to ride up, and that can bring on problems. Like it can start, I guess it can create twists in your tape. I find, anyways. You can even put your finger right here to kind of hold the tape down against. Come on. Push it down. And so on and so forth. I'll bring you back there once we're all raveled over, and then we'll do the same in reverse. So we're now getting near the end of the tape. So we'll just reel it in. And how I can tell is that noise that the supply cartridge was making has stopped. So there we go. So the tape was just kind of floating on it. Yikes. Anyway, so now we're going to open up this cartridge here. On this cartridge, it has the 5 tabs. And so with this one, you have your label side faced down. You would use I use these clothespins here. And with this one, I start with the the supply side of the cartridge, and I put my clothespin right on in there. Put pressure. Use my flat screwdriver, and I push this little tab here forward towards the front of the cartridge. Sometimes these fight, but other times they're pretty easy. So yeah, once you have pressure on that and you've pushed your tab forward, you'll see a little gap show up right there. So then what I do is I take my screwdriver, kind of wedge it in there, ever so slightly, and give it a little twist, and that usually pops open like so. Then we do the same to the opposite side, but however, the clothespin does not fit in this little area where the pinch wheel is. So I go to the middle hole area instead, and I just do the same thing. Apply pressure on the cartridge with the clothespin, and then apply a forward pressure on the clip, just to get a bit of a gap. Slide my screwdriver in there, and it pops it open. Now here, I just, with my finger and thumb, just put a little bit of pressure on the two halves, and then I do the same thing with the middle tab here. Just forward pressure, and it pops open. Do the same with these back two as well, while applying pressure on the two halves here with my finger and thumb. Right? A little bit of pressure there, a little bit of pressure there. Sometimes you gotta put your screwdriver between the two halves, right here, to just to crack it loose. That one's been a bit stubborn. No big deal. There we go. Sometimes they break. Hopefully they didn't, but it does happen sometimes. There we go. Luckily the tab didn't break, so there's your 4 little tabs or clips, I'd actually 5, that hold the two halves together. Now, sometimes you can be lucky and you can actually just swap the reel right over rather than re-spool it. But with the amount of damage that this reel here has in the middle from using screwdrivers to spin the reel when I'm doing these re-spools, I just keep that reel in this cartridge and then just do the thing over again. So I usually try to follow the same route that a tape would normally go. So this here, again, this is the supply side of the reel. The supply side is always the inner side of the reel. Then I just kind of feed it through the cartridge here. And luckily this reel has these little windows right here. Oops. Little openings here. So when I'm doing this, I'll actually take advantage of those little windows. So I'll feed this through again. And I'll actually put the end through the window, just to keep it from, oops, get back in there, just to keep it from getting sort of sucked into the supply side of the tape. Because once it goes in there, it's tough to get it out. I have to pretty much undo all my work just to get it out again. So anyway, so now that we're threaded, we have the tape threaded over from the supply cartridge onto the take-up cartridge. Now you can either use a screwdriver to spin the reel over again, but I just use these little windows here because, I mean, why not? They're there, right? So I just again run my hand over the cartridge, over the tape, just to kind of hold the tape down so it doesn't ride up the reel. Sometimes I gotta get a couple spins to get some. There we go. Just to get enough tension on there so it'll hold the tape on the reel. So the reel doesn't just slip. And then you just manually rotate your reel until you've pulled all this tape back over. This does take a while, so you definitely want to have patience. Which is funny coming from me because I generally don't have a whole lot of patience. Figure that one out. I guess it all depends on what I'm doing. Some things I'm very patient with, and other things not so much. Generally, things that involve tools, not very much. My patience is at a almost nil. But it's funny because I do enjoy working with tools, as long as things, you know, go easy for me. Anyway, so I'm going to continue with this off camera, and bring you back once we're done. So just kind of show some of the progress that I've made here. I am already about I'd say 80% of the tape, if not more, onto my supply cartridge, which is of course the original cartridge that that this tape was in. And you'll always see, whenever you're doing this, you'll always see this gap appear. I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, if you want, you can try and tighten it up, but I don't bother. It's fine. So we'll just continue with our respooling here. Oops. And you always want to make sure that when you're doing this, you never want to have your finger right near the this little tail of tape. Otherwise, you could end up pushing it back into the spool, and it is a pain in the butt to try and fish it out again. So I just try to stay as far away from it as possible when I'm doing this. And you just keep on spinning. Keep on spinning. That's what channel 33 RPM says. Which, if you haven't checked out his channel, do so. He has a lot of great content on records. Anyways, yeah, just give her a little spin-a-rooney here. Keep on going until you've transferred all the tape over onto this reel. Some people will call this your spool or your hub. I don't think there's any wrong term for it. So as you can see here, this reel has stopped spinning, but the tape is still coming around. That's because it's now so loose there that it just slides off the hub. Oops. All right, so now we're over. We're back onto the original cartridge. And we will move this guy out of the way. So now what I do to try and get, equal amounts of, or close to equal amounts of tape forward and enough slack so that I can use my tape re-splicing tool, which I got from a chap in it's a Facebook group called I think it's called 8-Track Fixation. I'll try to leave a link for the group down below. But yeah, you just ask for these. Someone will point you in the direction of the chap that sells them. So anyway, what I do is I'll take a loop off of the take-up side of the cartridge, or of the tape, and then I pull from the supply side to get roughly equal amount of tape. Sometimes I'll try to bring up even more, so I have slack out to about here. But this is one of the times when I'm feeling a bit lazy, so instead I'm going to pull the whole reel out of the cartridge, just like so. Hold the supply end in place so it doesn't come unspooling off the reel. I'll put my cartridge off to the side for now. I will take my trusty splice block. It's a splicing block is what it is. It's called a splicing block. Have that ready to go. I need my scissors. I don't have any scissors with me. Darn it. Great. So with that, guys, I had to change batteries. Anyways, so I had to also grab my scissors. My trusty pink scissors. Don't judge me. Anyway, I usually cut off a bit of the tape where the old full splice was, because I find that the new one won't stick to where the old adhesive was. So I just cut a little off of there, put that little bit away, and then do the same with the other side as well. Just a little off the top. And then put one side of the tape into the splicing block, and you'll see on mine there's little grooves here. That's where you put nickels to kind of hold the tape in place. Kind of a smart idea. Same thing here. Now I'll use my screwdriver, just kind of pull the two ends together. Oops. There we go. There. Now I'll take my splicing tape. Peel a bit off the roll. I'm gonna grab a little tweezer here. I need that for a second. Okay, so now, oops, pull a little off of there. All right, here we go. And give her a snip. Generally, you want, I don't know, definitely less than an inch. I'd say maybe half an inch, maybe a little less of foil splicing tape. Because if you have too much, it can cause premature wear and tear to your track change mechanism. So I'll use the tweezers just to pull the tape off my finger, and then I kind of straighten out a little bit, get the bends out of the splice, and then I just ever so carefully place it. Oh darn! Oh well, whatever. Oh, maybe it's fine. Oh yeah, no, we're good. Okay. For a second, I thought I applied the tape crooked, but I didn't. So now comes the fun part. Getting this thing back in place without having the tape unravel on me. It has happened a couple times. Let me just thread in one side there. Give this side a little bit of a tug. Get it to thread on there. You definitely want to make sure that you have your tape threaded behind these two little guides here. Then I grab my top part of the cartridge. Sorry about that, folks. And now sometimes you can get away with reusing these foam pressure pads, but in this case I won't, because it's looking a little worn out. Like it's seen some better days. Now I have made some of my own just from like weather stripping that I got from Canadian Tire or Home Depot. You can get this from the stuff from any hardware store. Got a good one here. There we go. So it's one that I made out of, like I said, out of weather strip. Then I put a piece of Scotch tape over the top, so that your quarter-inch tape can slide over it, and not leave behind a whole bunch of graphite. Because the graphite backing is what allows the tape to sort of slide against itself and not get all bound up. So anyway, we'll just kind of pop this in here. Sometimes I gotta give it a bit of finagling, but there we go. Like right here, for example. On the end here, kind of have to use my screwdriver, just kind of give us a push, get around this little post that's in the way here, right? Oops, get in there. Okay, so that's in place. Now, these pads that I've made, they're a little bit stiffer than they should be, but in a pinch they'll work okay. The pads that you normally get for these are a lot softer, and you can actually buy modern made pads from, I believe it's 8trackavenue.com. That's if they have any in stock. I'm not sure. I haven't had to order. I haven't ordered any from them in a while, so I've just been making my own. So anyway, so that's the process on respooling a 8-track tape that's been eaten by your player. And usually what causes that is the two ends come apart, right? And sometimes that'll happen just after it passes your pinch reel. So then what ends up happening is your tape will get bunched up right on this far end of your tape cartridge, and then eventually it starts getting pulled through. So, and sometimes it'll get wrapped around your capstan and makes a mess. Most times, though, when it breaks, the tape usually comes apart on this side of your fold splice, which is a lot nicer. There's less fussing and fighting involved with having to fix your tape. Kind of like what I had to go through today, right? So there's less chance of having to go through all that nonsense. Anyway, so that's that. You guys take care. I'll bring it back up for a second. Hi, it's me again. Anyway, so yeah, that's the process on the respooling of your 8-track tapes. Hope it helps. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And keep on tracking.